Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Michael. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I'm going to be streaming today on January the 23rd of 2025, and it's feeling good today. Today is actually my birthday. Um, uh, Funny enough, and we're going to be learning some Python today. So the grind does not stop even for the birthday. I'm going to keep going and continuing on here. So I really, really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. And yeah, how's it going, everybody? Welcome. All right, let's go ahead and get the stream loaded up here. Hey, Naman, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. You're awesome. Welcome into the stream. How was your day today? How's it going? ProDoc, well, how's it going? Welcome. Thank you, ProDoc. It's interesting birthdays as you get older. You know, life continues on and the work day continues on, and it really you have to try hard to make it something special. So, um, anyways, we're back here continuing Python because this is what I want to do, and I want to hang out with you guys today. So thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. No, it's not spiked lemonade, just regular lemonade. Hey, how's it going, Martin? Welcome in. Hey, Tim. Hey, LOL. How's it going? How's it going? Welcome, you guys. Walter White. Yeah, I guess um, at my work we have to get like we manipulate drugs and stuff used with the DEA clearance and everything. So and it's all like in a cage and everything. So we have access to quite a few um, narcotics and things like that. So it's really interesting. Welcome and thank you guys so much for the birthday love. I really appreciate you guys joining me this evening. I wanted to spend some time with you guys just for a little bit before I go out with my girlfriend and get some some dinner. I just wanted to come on and do some Python learning and continue on. I'm dedicated to learning and dedicated to hanging out with you guys. So thank you guys so much for joining me here. If you guys are enjoying your time and with the streams, feel free to give it a thumb up. It helps to get other people suggested onto the channel and continue growing our community. And we're meeting a lot of really great people, and I know a lot of people are starting to collaborate with one another. I think a couple of people are making a Python game or a game together and some other applications. So it's really, really cool to see people starting to actually network with one another and become quite friendly. So awesome. All right. How are you guys doing tonight? What are you guys working on? What are you guys studying this evening? You guys doing any homework? How are your guys' classes going if you're back in school? What's going on? Hope you had a great birthday. I'm sure Python will make it better. What made you want to get into chemistry? Honestly, I was just pretty good at it. In college, I just kind of went with what I was good at. Now, that kind of maybe was a roll of a dice. Like I could have, if I would have stumbled upon computer science and been good at it, then maybe I would have done that too. It honestly, I think was just, um, you know, something that I was just naturally. I'm not. I feel kind of weird saying that, but I just picked it up quite easily and was able to be successful in it, and I just kind of gravitated towards that. Only got three classes, light work. Awesome. Getting cooked. Anybody, you guys struggling out there? So yesterday we left off on page 335. I will preface this stream is going to be a little bit shorter because it is my birthday. I'm going to go get some food in a little bit with my girlfriend to get some dinner. But we're going to do our normal 5 pages of reading out of the book. And then I think I'm just going to do some working on the small business manager. Just keep it light, keep it chill. And then tomorrow I'm going to come back and we're going to start working on the algorithms week 3 CS50X problem set or weekly problem set. So we're going to take a stab at some of those. I kind of pre-read them and they do look a lot more complicated this week. So you definitely ramp up this week for sure. So we're going to take a stab at those tomorrow. I didn't really want to do those tonight. Okay, so we're talking about a post-order traversal like example here. Yesterday we kind of went over the yield in depth, like amongst the chat, and kind of discovered that temporarily pauses the iteration and will hand back that value, and can be manipulated in some way. So so remember with the post order, You traverse the left side of the tree, right? The left child first of the leftmost tree, or subtree rather, all the way down to its furthest leaf or its height, right? And then you continually traverse the leaves and then go back up that way. So you go kind of a bottom up approach, um, from my understanding, right? So you would go A, in this example, a post order traversal here. You go A to B to D to E, then you'd go to F, then to C. So you would finalize the bottom, depth, the length, the height, right? So you do maximum depth first, but you obviously travel along that leftmost subtree as well. Okay, so we can implement a post-order traversal using very similar technique as with a pre-order traversal. The only difference is that within the recursive utility for a post-order, we wait to yield position P until after we have recursively yielded the positions in its subtrees. After implementing its given in code fragment 8.19 here. So in this one, we have a post-order function, which if the tree is not set empty or whatever it's called on, self isn't empty, for every position, we're going to call this subtree post order, on self dot root of this to start the recursion. The subtree post order at that position given, which is the root in this case, for every child at that position, for the children, right? We will, and then for every other, we recursively call this to come. Okay, I got you. So interesting. Okay, and then breadth first traversal. In code fragment 8.2, we provide an implementation of the breadth first traversal algorithm in the context of our tree class. Recall that breadth first traversal algorithm is not recursive. The breadth first traversal goes through the tree so that all positions at depth D are visited before positions at depth +1. So you would handle the root, handle that depth, and then handle that depth. It relies on a queue of positions to manage the traversal process. Our implementation uses the linked queue class from section 7.1.2, although any implementations of the queue ADT would suffice. In order traversal for binary trees. The pre-order, post-order, and breadth first traversal algorithms are applicable to all trees, and so we include their implementations within the tree abstract base class. Those methods are inherited by the abstract binary tree class, the concrete linked binary tree class, and other dependent tree classes we might develop. The in-order traversal algorithm, because it explicitly relies on the notion of a left and right child of a node, only applies to binary trees, right? In-order traversal is specific to a binary tree and visits every node in order, left subtree, back to root, then right subtree. Kind of like a decision chart, I guess. Therefore, we should include it. Okay, we use a similar technique. Okay, gotcha. So we define breadth first here. If it's not empty, right, whatever, if the instance itself is not empty, fringe is equal to the queue. Known positions not yet yielded. Fringe dot nq, add to the queue the root position, while not fringe dot empty, position equals to the dq, all remove from the front of the queue, yield this position back. For every child at that position, add the child to the queue. Okay, got you. So when you remove a node at the root, you add its children to the queue. You would go to it, add its children to the queue to continue to go down. Okay. Thanks so much, LOL. I appreciate the birthday wishes, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Wanted to hop on here for a little bit and chat with you guys and hang out. on my birthday here. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it so much. Uh, what ETFs do you recommend investing in? Um, uh, you know, I kind of have a weird outlook on ETFs. I I know that they're the safe and right way to do things, right way, but I I just feel like there's returns that are missed out on, but also that just increases your risk though. So now you have to analyze your risk and what your current, risk allows for. So me being fairly young, 26 today, funny enough, and um, not having like dependents like kids or I don't have a wife right now. I do have a girlfriend, but we're not married, and so I don't have to tied up in like benefits and things like that. So I can take on a little bit more risk. So I kind of like investing in the actual individual companies within the ETFs. Now, hear me out, Mike. Why would you do that? There's fees and stuff, and you know, but the ETF is kind of for just like the everyday investor. I'm or like kind of everyday person. I'm not really the everyday average, retail. Just throw it in the ETF and never look at. I watch these companies' prices on every single day, so I kind of have a general feel. At least I have been for the past about 3 to 4 years now. Every single day I watch like I look at I watch their prices, and I kind of I have a select few companies that I have accumulated here, and I kind of have a feel for what like levels they like to stay at, what levels they like to test, what levels they kind of feel comfortable at, what levels I'm comfortable at, and so knowing that I've been able to kind of position myself, take advantage of times of cheap opportunities, when people were kind of fearful of some sort of recession. When in my period, I knew deep down that it was just a buying opportunity. And so, if you're into ETFs, you never go wrong with just the SPY and whatever. But if you have, time on your side and you're able to take on some risk and also just kind of forget about things. And if you do want to sort of forget it, I like the triple Q, but I kind of I'm a little bit more risky. Throw it into I like to throw things into the T triple Q, the triple leveraged Q. Now I do this. I don't do it every single day, right? But I watch the technology sector and the QQQ, and I kind of have this idea where it likes to kind of mess around, and when it gets into my levels, that's when I'll start to eat things up. And so, but that is for extremely long play because the TQQQ fluctuates very, very drastically just because it is triple leveraged, right? So it is an extremely long play, but I think it might be a successful one just on the fact of selective buying and dollar cost averaging during low periods for the positive outlook and overall tech, which I am fairly bullish on. Um, but if you guys want to talk stocks, we can talk stocks all day long. I love stocks. People don't really know, but I spend a lot of time messing around with the market and trying to beat the S&P. I think it's kind of fun. Um, but sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. um, but yeah, like Ark said, VU, the triple QM is a good one. I do it in like a retirement account, like an IRA. I do add just VU and um, VTI and things like that, just to gain some exposure into some safer investments. But I have some riskier portfolios, just due to my age and my risk tolerance and being able to, and also just to the fact that I kind of am invested personally into it. I like to watch it as more of a hobby and do that as well. So if you have other hobbies that you don't really care about watching but you want to get involved, then just the ETFs are fine. But that's why they often are recommended to just people. But in my opinion, they're if you're wanting to really squeeze the lemon or whatever, get the juice out for yourself. Um, I like. I mean, I personally believe that I don't really like share this much, but I have this term, this philosophy. I guess I like to go on about these yaps, so sorry about this, but um, I have this philosophy is that I'm really no different than anybody else, right? The products I consume on a daily basis, the media I consume. Yeah, I know some people like to go against the grain and become super eco-friendly and things like that. And but really, at the end of the day, there's a kind of a facade of choice that you have. It's created by these brands, and you're given this choice. But at the end of the I know I keep saying at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, everything kind of funnels back to a select few organizations. And I think that if you just stick with the what's known, then yeah, it's not the most fun ride, but I think it is probably the most lucrative over the long haul. Now, what am I talking about? I'm saying like I'm no different. I every 2 or 3 years I buy a new iPhone. I'm no different than anybody else. I bought a new Apple MacBook. I bought, you know, I had a gaming PC with an NVIDIA graphics card. I I had an AMD chip in there as well. I like to go out to restaurants. Where do I like to go to eat? Where I like to drink soda, right? Well, me, in theory, I'm no different than really anybody else, right? No matter how much I like to believe that or you like to believe that, we're kind of all funneled into this way of living, and so why kind of go against the grain with risky small stuff, small penny stocks and things like that. Yeah, it's great to get into those, maybe some biotech, just for the oddity that might be successful, but the big dogs are proven for a reason, and in my opinion they're not going anywhere. And people have this fear like, oh, what about Enron again? And well, that was just blatant fraud, right? I mean, is Apple and Microsoft and these companies committing fraud? I'm not sure. Probably not, just because of the mass size of them and the whistleblowing that would be going on under the hood. Now, are there things that probably are legal going on? Yeah, but I mean, that's probably just anywhere. Is it condonable? No, but um, it's just unfortunately the reality of things are like, I guess, is you gotta have money to survive. But that's it. And if you guys want to know more, you can ask me anything about stocks. I'll share. I'm completely transparent. I won't get into specific numbers though, but I'll tell you what I like, and it is all just for fun. Like, this is not recommendations or anything. This is I'm willing to lose this money because I it is just theory, and you know sorry about that. Yeah, that sounds good, Arc. That's a good putting a bit of money in VU and QQQM. That's a great idea. I just realized I read this book, but in C++ it's almost exactly the same. Oh, Martin, you have to help me break down some of these. I'm not really sure. What is why call a queue a fringe? What kind of terminology is a fringe? I'll definitely need your help here, Martin. Some of these coding examples I get tripped up on. They get pretty dense quick. Yeah, Insomniac, back to traversal here. Thank you so much for coming in, Insomniac Martin. Zimba, thanks so much for coming in. Yeah, VGT is a good one. I think it's another Vanguard one, right? Um, Martin says, I feel like investing don't really work unless you invest a lot of money over maybe 5+ years. Otherwise, the gain of money won't be worth the time spent waiting. Yeah, definitely, but that is just the investment, right? There's multiple, I think, layers to the investment. There is the initial upfront, actual cost, but there is the time that you need to actually learn about it to be successful. So there's multiple elements. That's why they often, they say, just invest in those ETFs if you really don't care at the end of the day. And over the long haul, 5+ years, you'll be all right. But if you want to really squeeze the lemon, you got to do a little bit of work under the hood. Hey, Zimba. Oh, I just said hey. I said hey already. Um, But I will say, remember that TQQ is triple leverage, so it will have short-term swings that are quite drastic. I am not looking to exit that position at anytime soon. In fact, I'm just continually adding to that position at enticing levels when I either dip below my current buy or get around near it. I just believe in tech for the long haul, and I'm willing to take the gamble on a triple leverage for higher payouts down the line. I'm 19, still in college, so I wanted to get a head start, but I'm still only dealing with chump change until I get a job. No, I really think it's kind of a fallacy to try to say, like, oh, I just don't have enough money to invest. Well, I won't. This example is kind of silly, but I mean, think about it. It is realistic because it did just happen. Like, you had people that invested, $100 into Bitcoin, and now they're walking away and buying homes with it. So, um, I really think that, like they say, time in the market is really what matters, not the amount or what and whatnot. So, my brother, he's in college right now, and I tell him if you can even spare just $1 a day, you never know what kind of company. I mean, people had Nvidia; they were buying it at like 50 cents, and now they're millionaires just off of the fact that maybe they were dollar cost averaging off a whim on like. And now it wasn't a whim because it was a company nonetheless that was still producing products, so they probably believed in it for the long haul. But still, no one never knew that that was going to really occur at this rate. So if you're wary about starting, just like with programming, like I say, like one day or day one, like it can be applied to anything, even with like investing too. And yes, there is risk involved, so you got to be safe in choosing select companies that you trust with your money. Like that's why I often suggest they suggest with those ETFs. But if you can kind of if you want to monitor and choose select companies that my philosophy, like I said, is that I use on a daily basis that I think everybody else uses as well because I am, like they say, sheep in this world. Like we're kind of all funneled and owned and not owned, but guided by these institutions. It's kind of conspiratorial, but thank you guys so much for coming in. Sorry about all the yapping. We seem to have a lot of people that are interested in investing. Um, I'm 19, still at college, but I want to get a head start. I want to deal with I'm doing a good job. Yeah, okay. I think if you're in college and want to invest money, but actual college stuff, buy actual stuff you can resell, something you can use and then sell to someone else. It's a good idea. Hey, thank you, Coding Mountain Man. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, those volatile stock, you got to be careful, and especially if it's for the long haul, you got to be willing to be able to just trust those companies. Um, those safe ETFs are good. Yeah, I think people get caught up in that short time frame. Like most of these 99% of these investments are meant to be for extended periods of time, right? And in stable companies. Um, why don't you try a functional language next? Well, I'm not sure what exactly a functional language is, but we are learning C right now within Harvard CS50X. So if you're interested in that, we're going to be taking a stab at the algorithms problem set week 3 tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mountain Man. I appreciate the birthday wish. You're awesome. Thanks for coming in tonight. Sorry for my yap. Let's continue on here. Um, so binary tree. So this says for instance, we create the queue. We have children. So we have def in order. Okay, and then these code fragments are pretty. I'm not really following them too much. So they use a lot of methods that were established before, and it's hard to kind of keep track. For many applications of binary trees and in-order traversals provides a natural iteration. We could make it the default for the binary tree class by overriding the positions methods that was inherited from the tree class. See code fragment 8.22. Okay. Positions return self in order. Okay, application of tree traversals. In this section, we demonstrate several representative applications of tree traversals, including some customizations of the standard traversal algorithms. Table of contents. When using a tree to represent the hierarchical structure of a document, a pre-ordered traversal of the tree can naturally be used to produce a table of contents for the document. For example, the table of contents associated with the tree from figure 8.15 is displayed in figure 8.20. Part A of the figure gives a simple representation of a one element per line. Part B shows a more attractive representation produced by indenting each element based on the depth within the tree. A similar representation can be used to display the contents of computer file systems based on its tree representation. So you have this A here, which is a without indentation. So it shows you obviously have the root here, but you don't really know what these children do besides by like the given name. You kind of can infer by the name that they're children of them. But here, this actually physically shows it as well as with textually. The unindented version of the table of contents given a tree T can be produced with the following code. Yeah, just at pre-order print element. To produce the presentation of figure of B, we indent each element with a number of spaces equal to twice the element's depth in the tree. Hence, the root element was unindented, although we could replace the body of the above loop with a statement print 2 times depth of the position with the space plus the stir representation of the element. Such an approach is unnecessarily inefficient. Although the work to produce the pre-order traversal runs in O of n time based on the analysis of section 8.4.1, the calls to depth incur a hidden cost. Making a call to depth from every position of the tree results in O of n squared worst case time as denoted when analyzing the algorithm height 1 in section 8.1.3. Okay. Functional, which one are you thinking? Racket, scheme, Haskell? I mean, Python is functional, much better mood-wise. Started drinking fish oil, was in literally bad place after the past few months. Oh, awesome, Wing. I'm glad you're feeling well. Eric, just join me every night on the streams. Like, just use it as a way to hold yourself accountable, right? You don't have to be directly working on what we're working on, or really paying attention for that matter. Maybe you're just here for the conversation. But if I'm streaming, then maybe use that as an alarm to, okay, I'm just going to do my homework as well during that time. And then over about, I'd say about 2 weeks, it becomes kind of a habit. Like, I naturally now, when I get home from work, I know at 7 o'clock, I'm going to start streaming. It's just like I get in that kind of mood and mindset. And it just took a little bit of time. So I really suggest just committing with me here for about 2 weeks, and using the stream as a tool to hold yourself accountable if that's what you're looking for, and you're wanting to grow as in your own education or whatever you're wanting to work on, and you just need to invest time. Then use the stream as that, right? Thank you so much for coming in, Eric. Yeah, glad you're feeling good, Wing Han. Well, awesome. I'm glad this stream could help you out here. That's amazing to hear. We are here for you, that's for sure. Okay. Efficient recursion for printing indented version of a pre-order traversal. On a compute tree T, the recursion should be started with from form this. In the example of code of the figure 8.20, we were fortunate in the numbering that was embedded within the elements of the tree. More generally, we might be interested in using a pre-ordered traversal to display the structure of a tree with indentation and also explicit numbering that was not present in the tree. For example, we might display the tree from figure 8.2 beginning as electronics RS, 1 is R&D, 2 sales, domestic. Okay. This is more challenging because the numbers used as labels are implicit in the structure of the tree. A label depends on the index of each position relative to its siblings along with the path from the root of the current position. To accomplish the task, we add a representation of the path as an additional parameter to the recursive signature. Specifically, we use a list of 0 index numbers, one for each position along the downward path, other than the root. We convert those numbers to one index form when printing. At the implementation level, we wish to avoid the inefficiency of duplicating such lists when sending a new parameter, from one level of the recursion to the next. A standard solution is to share the same list instance throughout the recursion. At one level of the recursion, a new entry is temporarily added to the end of the list before making further recursive calls. In order to leave no trace, that same block of code must remove the extraneous entry from the list before completing its task. An implementation based on this approach is given in this code fragment. So we have pre-order label with tree, position, depth, and path. So print label representation of subtree of T rooted at position P at depth D. So label equals a string of a period, dot join, string j+1 for j in the path. What? j+1 for j in the path provided. So what is the path that is provided? It said that it was a share a same list instance to the recursion. Let's take this into the Jibbity say, break down this, please. Hey Arrow, thanks for coming in. This is Data Structures and Algorithms in Python. All of the books that you see and the resources on stream from my notes, books, projects, everything can be found in my Discord link below, such as like Python crash course that we've been reading, the data structures and algorithms. I have PDFs, notes, my solutions to the problems within the text. As you can see, I have a lot for this book that we've been working on and breaking down over the past few months. So it's just little by little. I'm not really trying to blow through these things. I'm really trying to understand them and pick them up. So if that's something that you're interested in, then thanks for joining me here. I've been streaming every day. I start around 7 p.m. PST. For those that are new here, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, Slow. I appreciate you coming in. And thank you for the birthday wishes. Today is actually my birthday, which is funny enough. And I'm going to keep the grind alive here. But I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I graduated back in 2021, and I work as a chemist for a biotech company. I've been working there since I graduated. I got a job right out of college, and I've been teaching myself Python for about half a year now to just further improve myself on a personal level, my education, and I just find computer science really fascinating, and I've always wanted to learn about it. So I'm finally just going ahead and just doing it and, seeing what happens. So thank you guys so much for joining me here. Okay, well, hold on. Let's see what happens. Thank you, Mountain Man. Appreciate that support, rallying everybody up. Mountain Man's so kind. Thank you, Mountain Man. Appreciate it. Hey, your boy Frosty. Welcome in. How's it going? Welcome back. Um, the snippet represents a pre-order traversal of a tree-like structure where each node is labeled according to its position in the tree. Let's break it down step by step. Function definition. Def pre-order labeled tree depth path Tree is the tree object. P is the current node position being visited in the tree. D is the depth of the current node in the tree, starts at 0. Path, a list that keeps track of the positions of the nodes within its parent, used for generating labels. So in this line, compute the label for the current node. Label, whatever this is. Purpose, create a string representation of the node's position. Path, a list containing the indices of the current nodes relative to its ancestors. Example, if path equals 0, 2, 1, representing this node 1, 3, 2, because Python uses 0 indexing and adds 1 to each index. Yeah. Join combines the indices. Okay, print the label node. 2 times depth adds indentation proportional to the node's depth. For depth equals 2, this adds 4 spaces. Okay. Okay, interesting. Thank you so much, Insomniac. Appreciate you coming in every night after night. You're awesome. I really appreciate you guys' help, all of you. Okay. Parenthetic representations of a tree. It is not possible to reconstruct a general tree, given only the pre-order sequence of elements. As in figure 820a, some additional context is necessary for the structure of the tree to be well defined. The use of indentation or lowered or numbered labels provides such context with a very human-friendly presentation. However, there are more concise string representations of trees that are computer-friendly. In this section, we explore one such representation, the parenthetic string representation. Okay, the parenthetic string representations. The parenthetic string representation P of T of tree T is recursively defined as follows. If T consists a single position P, if T consists of a single position P, then P of the parenthetic string representation of T is equal to string stir P dot element, position dot element. Otherwise, it is defined recursively as the parenthetic string is string that element plus a quote, a parenthesis and a comma for every element 1 through. Okay, so it just creates a what? A tuple almost? Where P is the root of T, and T1, T2, all the way to T sub K are the subtrees rooted at the children of P, which are given in code fragment, which are given in order of if T is an ordered tree. We're using plus here to denote string concatenation. As an example, the parenthetic representation of the tree of figure 8.2 would appear as follows. Line breaks are cosmetic. Electronics RS, R&D, sales, domestic, international, Canada. Okay. Thank you so much, Ryan. Appreciate you coming in this evening. How you guys doing? Hey, Dominguez, how's your book going? How is Crash Course going? How's it going? Let me know. Thank you so much for the birthday wish. You guys are so kind. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping in. What are you guys working on this evening? Let me know. Although the parenthetic representation is essentially a pre-ordered traversal, we cannot easily produce the additional punctuation using the formal implementation of pre-order as given in code fragment 817. The opening parentheses must be produced just before the loop over a position's children, and the closing parentheses must be produced just after that loop. Furthermore, the separating commas must be produced. The Python function parenthesize, shown in code fragment 8.25, is a custom traversal that prints such a parenthetic string representation of a tree T. So parenthesize tree T given some position P. So we print the element P at the end with a blank string. You use an end avoids trailing new line, right? End is just a no new line. If the position that you're currently on is not a leaf, first time is equal to true. For every child in the at that position of the tree, we call the sep argument, or we declare sep as equal to this. Determine proper separator if first time else, comma. Okay. So just establishing a way to print these together with concatenate. Okay. Interesting. Computing disk space. Let's just finish this page here. In example 8.1, we consider the use of a tree as a model for a file system structure, with internal positions representing dictionaries and leaves representing files. In fact, when introducing the use of recursion back in Chapter 4, we specifically examined the topic of file systems, see section 4.1.4. Although we did not explicitly model it as a tree at that time, we gave an implementation of an algorithm for computing the disk usage. The recursive computation of disk space of an emblematic of a post-order traversal, as we cannot effectively compute the total space used by a directory until after we know the space that is used by its children directories. Unfortunately, the formal implementation of post-order as given in code fragment 819 does not suffice for this purpose, as it visits the positions of a directory. There's no easy way to discern which of the previous positions represent children of that directory, nor how much recursive disk space was allocated. We would like to have a mechanism for children to return information to the parent as part of the traversal process. A custom solution for this disk space problem with each level of recursion providing a return value to the parent caller is provided in code fragment 826, where we define disk space function with given some tree and some position. Return total disk space of the subtree of T rooted at position P. So subtotal equals to the P dot element dot some space used at position P. What does space do? For every child at that position, subtotal increases with the disk space call, recursive call, and we return subtotal. Okay, so space just calculates the amount of space used up by that element at that position. So you're just adding up the space taken up for every element in each position. Okay, gotcha. Recursively. Recursive computation of disk space for a tree. We assume that a space method of each tree reports the local space used at that position. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for the wishes. You guys are so nice. I can't understand parenthetic in this tree thing. Yeah, the parenthetic thing is pretty interesting. Let's go here. Please break down parenthetic string representation of a tree. The parenthetic string representation of a tree is a contextual representation of this tree structure using parentheses. It shows the relationship between nodes where each node's children are enclosed in parentheses immediately following the node's label. Okay, I like that. Let's take that into here. Like that. Okay. General idea. The root node is represented first. If a node has children, they are listed inside parentheses right after the node's label. Each child subtree is represented recursively in the same way. Okay, so I'm going to copy this example. I like this. We'll go like this. So A is back here like that. Q3. And we'll go like this and say parenthetic string rep would be this guy here. Okay, breaking it down, root nodes. Start with the root A, right? A. Open parentheses for every children, B and C. But B has children E and F, and C has child G. So those get wrapped in parentheses as well. Okay. So it's just like kind of wrapping parentheses around locality almost. Does that make sense, Wing Hong? Appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Good, thanks. Working on progress. Awesome. What chapter? Is that a chapter? I don't remember progress being a chapter. Work in progress? Work in progress? What chapter are you on? Cool. Okay. Nice. So we will go ahead and pause there on DSA in Python. This book is Data Structures and Algorithms in Python. If you want access to this book, I provide a free PDF of it linked below in my description in my Discord. Or you can just look it up online for yourself, no worries there. But also, I just provide a lot of other resources in my Discord. Yeah, appreciate you guys joining me for this portion. Now, let's go ahead and shift our focus here to the Small Business Manager project. I want to just work on this, keep it chill for today on my birthday. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. Okay, so yesterday we implemented this update revenue function really quickly. So we are actually, so now hold on, we have the business class kind of created at this point. We can give a name, we can access the all items. So we also need to pass in the all expenses to get access to that, right? Right, which is here, a dictionary. So we'll give this one a dictionary type hint as well. And then we'll say self dot all expenses is equal to all expenses. All right, so then let's go down, let's go back to our program here. Here's where we're creating the variable business details, which will house the information for the business itself. So I think instead of business details, I'm going to make this a constant variable by just going like this, business, like so. And then so we have name is test name, all items, and then we have all expenses equals all expenses, like so. So now we'll still be printing the revenue down there, which we don't necessarily need to be doing anymore. I'll just go ahead and comment it out just in case we want to keep testing that. So now we have the expenses being imported into our business class here, creation. So first though, we need to load file on businesses.json, business.json, right? So we need to start this kind of filing process here. To save the information. So let's go here. Let's look up our load file function, which is here. So we're going to have to add a type here for business dot JSON, right? Um, so now this function will accept this, right? Someone suggested that we use an underscore here for the type, but that would require a lot of editing, so I'm going to just look past that for right now. Okay. So I'll go ahead and minimize the case for items here. We don't need that here. So case quote business JSON. Let's go ahead and try open. So honestly though, we don't even really need to do this because we're already doing this. You can right click the variable and select rename IIRC. Oh, interesting. Here, right click. Find all, rename symbol, type underscore. Oh, wow, look at that. Hold on, my brother's calling me for my birthday, I think. Let me call you after my stream. Sorry, my brother was calling me. All right. Awesome. Thanks for that hip, Lo. Or that hip. Thanks for that hip. Hey, no. Okay, thanks for that hint. I appreciate you. Good. Okay, cool. So that changed that entire function. So, but will that change that for everything? So if I go back to my main function here for start. Oh, it did change that. Wow. Okay, that's cool. Nice. Thank you so much. Would like to send you some. Oh, thank you so much, Mountain Man. Yeah, for sure. I've been wanting to actually send you an email and pick your brain on software engineering as like a career. You had suggested that you think I could be successful at it, and I am interested in just that realm and getting seeing what it would take to get my foot in the door if possible. And not saying I don't like my chemistry. I really do enjoy it, but just further expanding on just my current skills. So yeah, I've been meaning to do that. I just haven't gotten around to it. Sorry. But yeah, you're giving me another reason to reach out. Thank you so much. So what we can do here actually is we're kind of mimicking this process with the expenses JSON as well. So we can really say just file here, loaded, right? Loaded is equal to on the JSON of the file, return just loaded right here, right? Except file not found, open a type as right with loaded, return loaded. Um, hmm. So if file isn't found, you create the file and return nothing here. So this would be just loaded items. This is just a blank dictionary. And loaded items there. Thank you so much, Mountain Man. I really appreciate those kind words. Two legends. I don't know about me. Coding Mountain Man's the legend. He's the real one. He's got all the great advice, and he's got some really great videos. Go check out Coding Mountain Man's videos if you're wanting some wholesome, just general advice just regarding the tech field and things like that. He's got some great content there. So I've been watching some of his stuff and experiences. He's got some experiences too. Um, Hello, Choppy. Welcome. I appreciate you coming in and supporting me here. Thanks so much for the message. You're awesome. Uh, Natisanis. If I pronounced that wrong, if I pronounced that wrong, then please correct me. I want to make sure I'm getting your name right. But thanks so much for coming in, Natisanis. Natty Sanis. I think that's how you say it. I think this is so cool. I'm not gonna lie. I've learned about Python during a cybersecurity sprint and made me want to learn more about it. Yeah, exactly. Let's learn together here. Thanks so much for joining me here. I stream every day around 7 p.m. PST during the week after my 9 to 5 job as a chemist, and I stream on the weekends. A little bit earlier than that, in the afternoon, just to help get some of our East Coast and international friends in here. All right. So now we can instead say if case is equal to this, or quote, um, or case. Can you say or with a case? Like, can I say business JSON here? I can't give an or for a case. Anyone know how to have like a kind of like a multiple, like an if? We'll have to change this to an if. Or how can you have multiple, like an or condition on a match case? How to have a or condition on a match case. In Python, you can achieve an or condition in two ways: if condition or match case. Oh, okay, you have to just use a bar syntax. Like so. I didn't know that. Okay, so oh, whoops. Oh, whoops. Oh, what just happened? What just happened? We'll say bar equals or. Right, I didn't know that. Okay. Awesome. I'm glad I got your name right, Addie Santos. Welcome. Appreciate you coming in. Is your language favorite is Python? Well, currently, I guess by default, I currently know the most out of Python. We are learning C in Harvard CS50X. Um, so if you're interested in learning some lower level programming in C and also getting into some more like full stack programming, but also it does go into Python. It goes into SQL, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. It kind of gives a broad general overview of computer science and really is a deep dive into that. So if you're interested in, it is beginner friendly. So, and if you're doing it alongside me, it might serve as a better way to kind of transition from, into it. It can be a little bit hard for a true beginner to kind of take on these concepts. Um, you know, uh, I wouldn't say, in a quick amount of time because it doesn't really matter how long you do it, but I've just seen a lot of, I've heard of a lot of people like complain that they've been stuck on, various concepts for, weeks at a time, and at that point it's kind of defeating the purpose because, you're kind of at a cost of time versus, learning and it shouldn't really be about the time, but still, you have to weigh that in with the cost for anything. But if it's overall, if you don't really care about that, then it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But if you do it alongside me, you can just have that, further camaraderie. I've been completing them, and we can complete it together, and you can just get that further experience with someone else that's been programming for a little bit here, about half a year. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to do it alongside me here, because I know there's not a lot of like um, you know open resources for those courses that like that show you things and yeah. Okay. So if the case where they say or business.json, we will open that file with the same sort of process here. So what we can now, so we didn't even need to create an additional function. We just kind of refactored some of our language here and created and added this or condition. So now what we can do is go into our start here. We can say, I'm going to create a business details is equal to a blank dictionary. We global business details, or this is going to be not business details, this is going to be business, right? Take this away. Ooh, make this business. We will call business equals load file with a type underscore equal to business dot JSON. So now this will load this file if there isn't anything there. So let's go ahead and comment this out here and just see what happens on run. So we run this function, we run the program, and boom, we got a business.json, which is empty. Perfect. So this is kind of mimicking as if we had just downloaded this program and we're trying to create like create a business in here. So you have to do it in the settings is what I'm thinking, right? So because there is no way, I'm not really sure how to like force the user on first startup to create the business right off the jump. But we can definitely have it like tucked into the settings so that they can go in and like create like a new name rather than like a default business name. So this just created the file. Right, so now we need the options to actually create the business, right? Just like we have the options to create items and expenses. So just like in the settings menu, that's where that's going to take place. So this creates the file of the business, and then we need to manipulate the business variable now with the details. Because the load file, what it does is it reads this file and returns back in a dictionary what was inside. Okay. So let's go to our settings menu here. We want to go, instead of an expense setting, we want to add in a business settings. Like so. So this will be actually case 1 then. Case 1. We're going to just do a clear terminal right off the bat here. And then we're going to get into the business settings menu, right? So let's get some space here. Def business settings menu, or business menu, because we have expense settings. We call expense settings here. Oh, expense menu is different from expense settings. Right. Hey Omen, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much for the yo. Hey, how's it going? Welcome in. Thank you so much. Insomniac says, have you given a thought about using Python for machine learning or deep learning for formulation science? Honestly, I have. I have actually, funny enough, let me show you here. I have a Python learning book here. I just, honestly, I'm a little bit, like, it's a little bit daunting, I guess, for lack of better words. I just am a little bit worried that my math not might not be up to par for what it needs at the current moment. You'll have to, share some thought with me about what you think about that. But the highest level of math I took was Calculus 1, but that was my freshman year of college. So I, it's been a long time since I've had some deep level math. Now, obviously, I've done math, plenty of math in physics and in chemistry and stuff, but it's not like it just was kind of basic algebra and pre-calculus, nothing needing calculus and above. So, what do you think along if you have experience with math and machine learning? I definitely would because I have an example actually. What got me into programming was that I have to manipulate this chemical matrix at work um, by hand. And you might be thinking like a matrix, oh, it's just like an Excel, like just a two-dimensional chart. Well, it's kind of a two-dimensional chart, but then those numbers feed into another chart, which feeds into like another chart, and it kind of like it gets elaborate, but and it requires a lot of kind of intellectual thinking about various um, elements. So I don't know exactly how I would solve that problem using a computer, but I'm thinking like machine learning maybe would be the avenue to go down because you need to have the ability for the computer to learn from its previous inputs and then adjust based on that to hit these various target points um, because it basically has to kind of like plug and chug because that's kind of what I do. I don't brute force it. I kind of intuitively you know plug and chug where I think, oh, I need a little bit more here, a little bit more there, with these levels, but it gets complex pretty quick. So yeah, I'm not sure. What do you guys think about that? Let's go ahead and put that right there. Ray 313, why not start with Flask to build actual web apps since you already have Python fundamentals down? I just don't have never really known. I honestly, Ray 313, it's kind of just ignorance, I guess. I don't really, I've never heard of Flask. So if you could explain it, that would be really, really fantastic. And I'll definitely go ahead and take a peek at it. I'm kind of just bound by my current knowledge and limitations by that. And so that's the whole point of the stream is that we're going to try to continue and keep going here. So, if you're interested in following along, I thank you so much for your comment and thank you so much for joining me here, you guys. But yeah, I just never really heard about it, so that's just the honest truth. There's just the it seems like um, the world of programming is so vast and so large that everyone's like, oh, did you learn this? Did you learn that? And it's like, man, where did people get all the time to learn all these things? Like I thought I was doing plenty, just um, like trying to. I thought I was doing a lot right now. People are like, I got to learn this module, this package. I'm like, oh my gosh. Back on Python framework, that's what basically Flask is. I'm sure you heard about Django. Yeah, Django is mentioned in some of these books. Flask is a framework, something to keep in mind. Not everything is web apps in programming. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'm also interested in like desktop apps too. Like I like, utilizing the power of the hardware as well. So I kind of wanted to make this into like a desktop app for the user. Now it probably could be a better served purpose being like a web app for cloud, be able to access over the internet, but we did start to set up like a GUI and stuff within Tkinter and things like that. So, but if we have any, if you guys think we should dive into Flask, definitely let me know and we can take a peek at it. Um, but Insomniac says, yeah, that's what I thought. I do have a math background, although deep learning is more math than reading the data. Um, yes, you basically use the formulation data and try to make sure the numbers are right. That's where math comes in. Yeah, so I know like I know the math behind the actual like formulation that I'm doing. Like I know where the numbers are coming from, but I'm not sure if I would have to develop some sort of additional algorithm or mathematical function to actually do the reprocessing of numbers, that to mimic the human experience of like processing that information and then coming up with a new value. There's currently no like method for that other than just human intuition basically. um, I've used Flash to create a desktop app as a learning experiment. Turns out Electron was better. Oh, what is Electron another framework app? What is the difference between them? You can only chat GPT for remember concepts and learning. You only use ChatGPT for remember concepts and learning. Yeah, exactly. So that's something that you might notice is that I really try not to use ChatGPT as a crutch. I found that it can be a real dangerous slippery slope when taken advantage of, and that can be applied to really anything in society today, right? So, but with AI, you really have to hold yourself, create a discipline and some rules. So some rules I'll say is if I often am, if I'm showing it my code, right? If I'm copying my code into ChatGPT, I will preface, please do not show me like a correct version of my code or alter my code, but instead tell me where I'm wrong verbally or with text, and then and tell me suggestions from there. So if I'm copying code and showing, I'll preface with it like a please no code. But if I'm I need to remember a concept or a quick, what did that function do? I'll just get a quick little search on here because I really think that's no different than looking it up on Google or Stack Overflow because that's just where it's pulling the information from, but it's just faster. So I would be like kind of dumb not to use an insanely fast Google search, in my opinion, but you have to be kind of strategic and it just does that filtering process out for me. Now, you do have to filter it yourself and make sure it's providing you the right information. Um, with formulation experiments, you'll be a unique talent with programming and machine learning as well. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm maybe hoping to bring to the table and combine the two. So, Insomniac, we're here, if you're here for the long haul, maybe we can work together on when we get to there. I know I might be a little bit slow, but slow in progressing forward. We've come a long way in just 6 short months here, but we have a long way to go. And these books are just thick here, so I want to be the type of person that finishes the books and gets through them, but you know, is all of the data, everything in the book super prevalent? Yeah, maybe it'd be helpful, but will we bet better suited maybe dipping out early or coming back? And I don't know, but I don't really want to give up. Like we're already so far, right? Um, into this book. I also just don't want to start too many books at once because I feel like just reading out of books isn't too entertaining. But I know a lot of people like it, including myself. Really quickly while we're here, hold on, let me check my phone, make sure. All right, cool. Um, but also Python has pandas for data scientific. Oh yeah, I've heard about pandas. Electron is a framework for creating desktop apps using HTML, CSS, and JS. I believe Discord and VS Code use Electron to essentially make a decision to essentially make you decide quicker. To essentially make you decide quicker. What do you mean, Insomniac? Are you trying to convince me to start learning machine learning right now? It's funny. So we want to open up the business settings here. Um, and then we'll say we already cleared up here, so we don't need to clear inside here. So we'll say user input, right, is equal to create menu. Our prompt will be business settings with a new line here. And then our options are going to be, I think my girlfriend's home. Yes, she is. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hey, I'll wrap it up here in just a second. Give me 1 second. We're gonna go out and get some food here in a second, so I'll probably wrap up the stream here at about 8:30. I appreciate you guys for joining me here. It is my birthday for you guys that don't know, so it is gonna be a little bit of a shorter stream than normal. I did want to hop on and spend a little bit of time studying with you guys and hanging out before I go out and do some birthday celebrating. So thank you guys so much for joining me here. And tomorrow I'll be back 7 p.m. PST, so no worries there, and we'll do a normal 2.5 hour session, maybe 3 hours or so tomorrow. Okay, so for the thank you so much, James. I appreciate you. I mean, machine learning for formulation. Most AI researchers in some big companies have physics background as well, so unique perspectives from a different background is getting accepted these days. Yeah, exactly, Insomniac. That's what I was maybe trying to like bring to the table. I felt like maybe if I brought a different angle to the world of programming and tech that with a chemistry and formulation background, that they might be willing to maybe take a chance on someone that doesn't have a computer science degree, rather, right? Maybe that I could be it could help filter me out from that sea of just computer science graduates that are coming out of the gates. And not saying it's I'm not trying it's definitely it's interesting. I have it at work currently, and so it's definitely a cup half full moment already. But yeah, it's just a thought for sure. What type of food you going for? Italian? No, I think I'm just gonna do some burgers maybe. I'm kind of a burger guy. I like burgers and something quick and easy, and so I can watch some shows and hang out. But I do have work tomorrow still, so okay. Let's so the business settings. The options are going to be um, so what kind of options do we want to give the business settings? So in here now, if we run our main, right, we added the business JSON here. So in our settings file, we have now business settings. So now we need to do something with the business settings. So we can obviously establish a name. We need to make a business name. You can, I guess that would be just the first thing, is just getting the name established, and then um, yeah, that's kind of it for right now, and then we can get some stuff. So um, uh, business settings, edit, name, right? So actually, this is all edit, name, and then we'll just leave it at that for right now. We will say match user input with the following, with case of 1 would be, and then we also need an option though for going back. So we're in business settings, which goes back to settings menu. So I will say settings menu here. And so we'll give case 1 we'll say new name or business name is equal to so we'll say set name function here. This returns the name. Do we need a type? No type on this one. So set name, that's fine. So then we'll say case 2 After this, we'll call clear terminal, and then business settings again to go just kind of create this loop effect. Business settings, this needs to be settings. So case 2 would be we'll clear in the settings menu. We don't do a clear, so we need to clear here and go settings menu like so. So now we set the name and we go back, but we need to actually set this name. So this will be business dot the thing is though, right, it has to be business dot name like so, but it might be in a JSON dictionary object, right? So like if we try to edit the name after it's already been saved, I don't think it'll work, right? So let's go here. We need to keep this, and this is just business name, like so. So let's go ahead and test this out here. Yes. Settings, business settings. Okay, that's wrong. We need to fix that. Formatting. Edit name. Okay, we need a prompt. That's right. So here, we need a prompt is business name, like so. So now if we run here, yes, settings, business settings, edit name, business name is going to be test name. That worked, right? Now really quickly I'll print business dot name. Now this needs to go here, but I'll comment this out. Yes. Expenses or settings, business settings, edit name, test name. Cool. It's overriding successfully that attribute. But what might take place though is that when we save this as a JSON object, it's going to be saved as a dictionary. And so the name parameter will be changed to a dictionary key. So we'll have to account for that maybe by like offloading out of JSON into an object again. That might be a good idea. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's my birthday, January 23rd. I turned 26 today. So I'm going out to grab some food and just hang out with my girlfriend for a little bit. Today was a little bit shorter of a normal stream, shorter than normal. I usually do about 2.5 to 3.5 hours every day after my 9 to 5 job as a chemist. But today we're doing a little bit, like an hour and a half, just to keep it light for my birthday, and just we gotta take these celebrations, and it's good to take a break sometimes and keep it light. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. I have a Discord linked below where I provide a roadmap for my entire learning journey so far. You can get access to my notes, to my projects, to my books that I'm reading, to everything. Other people have also provided their resources, so it's really cool. A really great opportunity to follow along with courses that I'm taking like CS50X. Right now we're on week 3, algorithms in CS50X, where we're learning about algorithms in C. We're live coding in C in that course as well as in Python just in our free time. So lots of content coming and developing here. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and supporting me and giving me all the birthday wishes. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys truly, truly, and interacting with me on the Discord and for following along to the channel. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for talking. Joining today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hold on. Levi says, I keep searching for Python tutorials on YouTube and your live sessions pop up. I'm new to coding. I want to learn Python and create. Can you recommend a course that goes from basics to advanced for analytics? Yeah, I highly would recommend just taking a stab at Harvard CS50P, joining my Discord, and looking at that roadmap of things I've done, and taking a look at Python crash course to fill in the gaps. But I am running out. I got to head out here, guys. So thank you so much for joining me here. Ask me any questions on the Discord that you might have. I'll answer. And yeah, James, we'll do some leak code here shortly. I didn't want to do any leak code on my birthday. I didn't want to go through that struggle, but maybe tomorrow we'll take a stab at that. But definitely this weekend for sure. And thank you so much for the birthday wishes, you guys. Sorry to rush out on you guys, but